Welcome to an IronCAD video on Too Tall Toby's practice models dated 8/9/24. This is a hex wheel. If you're watching some of our previous videos, the two previous ones, sorry about the audio. I was hooked to the wrong microphone on my computer and I didn't realize that. So anyways, this one we're going forward and we have it fixed, and so hopefully this will be a little bit louder on the audio side. So this model is pretty interesting. So it's essentially made of a couple cylinders, and the key thing is these shapes here. So they give you a definition of where the origin of these two arcs are, which is a 4 diameter radius circle, and the center is here. Then they give you the radiuses off of those to give that geometry. So you can try to build this in, a sketch by placing your sketch, creating a point out here, drawing the arcs, out here, and then trimming the geometry, then rotating it. That's an approach to take for this model, but I'm going to show you a kind of unique way to do this. It's sort of like a multi-body model that, again, you can use structure part in IronCAD to do a multi-body the same way I'm doing it here. An innovative part, but I'm just kind of showing you a unique way to do this. So by using combined features to build this geometry here. So let me go ahead and kind of walk you through on how to build this geometry. So this one, in this case, if you're using the combined features, it does kind of limit some of the editing to these two arcs that you can edit by face geometry, but it does limit some of the modifications to it, but it gives you a unique way to build this pretty quick. So let me go ahead and hop over to IronCAD, and what we're going to start off with is the starting cylinder here in our part. So let me, I have some geometry here, so let me just delete that and set this as active. Here we go. So okay, so now that we're in IronCAD, let me hop over here, and I'm going to start off with a cylinder. So I'm going to just drag and drop a cylinder out, and this is going to be our base shape here. So this is the inside, which has got a diameter of 6 inches inside of this case, and it's got a thickness of our internal part is 1 inside of there. So that's going to be our starting point. I'm going to go ahead and build the other shape as well, just so I have it as a reference. So I'm going to drag another cylinder out here onto the center point of this. I'm just going to reverse its direction and align it here to the outside edge so that now it's the same size. I can right click on this to do a symmetrical drag, and that's going to be 1.5 for this one. And the diameter on that one is going to actually be 7. And what I want to do in this one, I'm just going to actually edit the cross section on this just by hitting Control or right click on it. You can do edit cross section or Control E, either way, or Alt E in this case, to get to the cross section. And I'm just going to draw that center circle. In this case, it's going to be a 3 to basically match that inside piece. So basically just building those two pieces there to start off with. Now what I'm going to do is kind of unique here. So again, I could draw these cutouts using a sketch, but what I'm going to do is actually suppress the second one that I've created. So I'm not going to use that geometry right now. I'm going to suppress that, and this is what I'm going to work on. And what I'm going to use is actually just drag and drop a cylinder cut right on the center, and I'm going to use a tri-ball to move it out to the location they specify, which is 2 inches out from the center. So now that I have that in the starting location, we know the first one, the radius on that is 1.5, so that diameter on that is 3. So again, we can select on this, select that to 3 to set that. And now I'm going to drag and drop another cut cylinder, and I'm going to hold the Shift key down and select to the center here, and it's got a diameter of 4 on that one. Okay, so now it's not the shape I want, but what I'm going to do is actually edit that feature, and I'm going to tell it to cut everything on the outside. So it's going to give me basically those two arcs are automatically cut for me. And the interesting thing is, I don't want it to impact this other geometry. So what I can do is in IronCAD, we're not restricted on the feature history order. We can dynamically move these around, even though we have references in there. We can move this down to the last. Sorry, it's the wrong one. Put that back up there. One that has suppressed here. This one here, I want to move it down to the last so that those do not impact this feature. So then I'm going to go ahead and unsuppress it. And you can see that those cuts, that outside cut does not impact this particular cylinder inside of there. So that's just kind of feature history order capabilities. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the hub inside of here, the cylinder. So I'm just going to hold the Shift key down, select the center here, and that's going to place my hub on that edge. Again, I'm going to reverse this direction, and I'm going to align it to here. And this one actually has a symmetrical drag of 2 for that size. So that gives us our center location, and we need to set the diameter on that guy to 1.5. I believe. Yeah, 1.5 inches inside of here. And that gives us our shape. So what we need is just this top arc. We don't need this bottom arc. So what I can do is just select to this face and just cut that and remove that geometry out. So that's give us a quick way to get that geometry inside of there. So just a different way of thinking, just kind of using sort of like clay, if you will, just kind of modeling and adding and removing material. So next we'll go ahead and add our blend features on this guy. So this guy has a blend on the inside of 0.5 here and here. This one here has a 0.25. And we have our other one is a 0.75. Let's not do that. We got face there. Let's delete that. I want to get this edge here. Sorry. Pick that edge there and put 0.75 on that. So now that we have those set, we can go ahead and apply those to get our shape. Okay. And we know this needs to be a pattern of 4, so we can just use our pattern feature inside of here. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. It's kind of unique. So now this right now contains multiple features. It's got this blend, it's got these 2 cuts inside of here, and there's features, and you can select those and do a pattern that way, and it retains your features. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is you can use a command called combine. So what I'm going to do is say this is the features that make up that inner piece. So if I select those features right there, those are the ones that make that inner shape there. And let's see what is this. This was the outside cylinder. This is our hub, just to show you, and that's our blend. So we're going to select these features by holding the control key down. Select those and go to our tools, and we can combine these shapes. And it's going to tell you that it's going to group those shapes together as a B rep. So now we have a single B rep for that shape. So now that when we run our pattern feature inside of here, we do a circular pattern inside of here, we're going to select just that feature there, and then we can select our blend feature and create a 4 around this axis. Okay. So it's a very simple way to create that shape and get that geometry created and patterned in one long shape. So that's one way to do that inside of there. So just a fast way to do that. But if you wanted to maintain the features, you can just select all those as part of the pattern feature to retain that when you did that command. Last, we're going to go into our shapes here. We have a polygon shape and we have a hexagon cut inside of here. So if we want to look at our shape, you can kind of see here from the drawing. The hexagon needs to be placed a certain orientation, so we're going to do a cut hexagon right on the center here, and that is the orientation that it needs to be in, and we need to set that as 0.75 for that height, and we need to make sure that it goes all the way through, so we can pull it through or just snap it to the back, and that will give us our geometry. So now if we select to our geometry here, everything's created. We can go ahead and add our mass density of 1020 inside of there, and that will give us our mass in pounds is 0.867 inside of there. So that's a very simple way to build this model. Hopefully you find it kind of unique way to approach that, but you can do that with kind of multi-bodies and structured parts of IronCAD as well. So you could have a body here, pattern the body, and then bowling the bodies together as a union to get that shape as well. So that's another approach to take for that model. So hopefully you find it kind of unique and interesting, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.